Take a few moments to find your center, close your eyes and observe the breath. Bring your mind into the present moment to begin your practice, allowing the mind to be calm and peaceful. Now you can open your eyes and we'll come up to standing. Bring the feet together and take 3 deep breaths here. Ground into your feet, lift up the kneecaps, draw the inner thighs in, lower abdomen engaged, shoulders back and down. Inhale, bring the arms back, opening up the chest, raise the arms up to the sky, keep the arms parallel. Keeping the arms still, hunch the shoulders all the way up towards the ears and then release them down as far as you can. I'll turn around and show you. So hunch them up and then release them down. So we're just trying to establish the full range of movement in the shoulders. Again, lift up and then release down. And then find that midpoint, and that will allow you to bring the palms together, look up to your hands. Exhale, release the hands back down. Now set the feet apart a little wider than hip distance and clasp your hands behind your back. Lift the chest up and look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend forward, bend into the knees, bring the arms up and over. And then inhale, to come back up, release the hands. Now go into arm circles, keep the movement control, bring the arms forward, back and down. Try to avoid hunching the shoulders up, find that full range of movement in your shoulder rotation. Now reverse the direction, so bring the arms back, up and then forward. And bring the arms out to the front and then start circling the wrists. Bring the arms out to the side. So you want to keep the hands as straight as possible, keep the fingertips together. Bring the arms back in again. So this is to strengthen the hands and the wrists, since we do lots of yoga on our hands. One more, bring the arms out to the side. And then bring the arms back forward. Then give the hands a shake out. Bring your arms back and up, all the way up to the ceiling. Bring the palms together and look to your hands. Exhale, fold forward. Slight bend into your knees and then walk your hands forward. Come down to all fours. Okay, place your hands underneath the shoulders and knees just underneath the hips and go into cat-cow. So inhale, raise your head up, lift the pelvis up. Exhale, curve the spine, bring the chin to the chest, tuck the pelvis in. Again, inhale, raise the head up, chest lifted, pelvis up. Exhale, suck the belly in, chin in. And then come back to neutral. Okay, another wrist strengthener. Raise the palms up, so you come up onto your knuckles and then press them back down. You can make this easier by bringing the shoulders back or bringing the hands closer to the knees, and you can also make it harder by bringing the shoulders forward or bringing the hands further away from the knees. If you struggle with flexibility, you can also do alternate hands as well, lifting one hand and lowering it down and lifting the other hand. So last few, 5 And 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here, tuck the toes under, lift the pelvis up and walk the hands towards the feet, so going through the knuckles into the palms, and then walk back forward again, so now going through the palms into the knuckles. Come down to your hands and knees each time. So again, repeat this 2 more times. Keep the fingers nicely spread out. Distribute the weight evenly throughout the hands. And now step your hands forward. Keep the pelvis lifted up high and go into a chest opening, so let the chest sink down towards the mats. Breathing deeply. Come back to kneeling again, tuck the toes under, and then lift up the pelvis up nice and high to come into a downward dog. So roll the shoulders out. Have a slight bend into your knees. If you have tight hamstrings, just make sure you raise that pelvis up nice and high. And work on lowering the heels down towards the ground. Then walk the hands back towards the feet again. Let the chest fold in, and then inhale, roll back up. Bring the arms back and up to the ceiling. Look up to the hands, palms together. Exhale, release your hands down. Widen your stance. Clasp your hands behind the back. Inhale, raise your chest up. And then as you exhale, fold forward. You can bend into your knees. Bring your hands up and over. Stretching into the shoulders. And then inhale, just come back up. Release the hands. Step your feet back, hip distance apart, and inhale, raise your hands up to the ceiling, palms together, and look up to your hands. And then exhale, release your hands, roll down. Walk your hands back forward, walking through the palms into the knuckles, fingers spread out wide. This time come to a plank position. Now keep the hips lifted up, press into the back of the heels, legs nice and active, shoulders just above the wrists. Now we're going to lower down onto our front, so come down onto your knees first. Now as you lower down, keep the elbows pressing in. And then lift up for baby cobra. Keep those legs active. Shoulders back and down, elbows squeezing into the side. And then raise the hands up, just level to the shoulders. Try and lift up just from the upper spine. Try not to use the lower spine. Just keep lifting up. Now reach your hands back and hold it there. Keep those legs active, so kneecaps lifting up off the floor. Keep those glutes active. Belly drawing in. And again, flex the arms. And lower the palms back down. Now raise back up and come into child's pose. So let your chest sink down into the knees. Let your pelvis settle down into your heels. Reflex into your spine. When you're ready, come back to hands and knees again. And press the tops of your toes firmly down into the mat, and that will activate your core. And then we're going to go into press up. So as you lower down, bring the shoulders forward, bend into the elbows, elbows squeezing into the side. Exhale, inhale to press back up. So 2 more of these. Exhale. Keep those elbows squeezing into the side of the rib cage. Inhale, lift back up. Keep the core really active as you lower down. Exhale, inhale, raise back up. This time press down, hold it there in chaturanga. Keep the chest lifted. keep the core engaged, and then lower the chest down to the mat. Keep the elbows squeezing in, lift up into low cobra, and then raise up the hands. Keep the kneecaps lifting up off the floor, glutes active, and then reach the hands behind. Squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other, then bend the hands back, press back up, and then lower back down into a child's pose. Flex into the spine. And then circle out the wrists. So let's repeat the same exercise. So come to all fours again. And this time we'll step out into a plank position. So step one foot back, and then step the other foot back. Make sure that the hips don't sink down, so you must keep the core engaged. And then lower down, keep the elbows squeezing in, exhale as you lower down, inhale to press back up, exhale lower down. Try not to let the shoulders lower down any further than the elbows. Again, lower down, exhale, and hold chaturanga, so keep the chest lifted, keep the core engaged, and then lower the chest down to the floor. Come to low cobra and raise the hands up. Squeeze the elbows in, keep the kneecaps lifting, so legs active, glutes active. And press the hands back down, press back up and go back into a child's pose. And then slowly come back up. So if you have a resistance band, go and grab one. If you don't have one, don't worry, because you can do it without as well. And come to standing. Stand with your feet hip distance apart, and then bring your hands forward, palms facing up, elbows squeezing into the side. Then inhale, bring the hands out to the side, keep those elbows squeezing in, and then exhale, bring them back forward. Okay, so I'll just show you with the resistance band as well. So this just creates a bit more resistance into your arms. Again, inhale, bring the arms out to the side, and then exhale, bring them back forward again. Really try and resist the elbows coming out, so really try and keep the elbows tucking in nice and firm into the side. And this is just working into the stabilizers around the shoulders. Great, so put the band to one side. Okay, bring your feet parallel, and then inhale, bring your arms back and up, bring the palms together, look up to your hands. Then exhale, bring your hands back down, widen your stance, clasp your hands behind your back, inhale, lift your chest up, exhale, fold forward, bring your hands back and over. Go into your shoulder stretch. Lift your hips up nice and high so you can have a slight bend into your knees. Inhale to come back up, release the hands, and then step your feet back. So come to a plank position first, then lower down onto your knees, bringing the tops of your toes pressing down into the mat, and then lower down onto your forearms, so your elbows in line with your hands. Adjust your feet appropriately, so if you have your toes tucked under, bring the tops of your toes pressing down into the mat so your core is activated. You can challenge yourself further by bringing your knees further back. Keep the shoulders above the elbows. Keep the tops of the toes pressing down. And then final position, step back into a forearm plank. Then from here, bring the shoulders forward, so you're bringing your chin down towards the mats. Don't worry if you can't lower down all the way. Exhale as you lower down, inhale to come back up. Starting with the right hand, come up onto your palms. So right hand leading the way, and then come back down onto your forearms. So you're alternating hands, leading with the right hand. Okay, and then come back to your plank position, lower down onto your knees, bring the tops of your toes pressing down, and then give your arms a break, come into a child's pose. Then raise back up onto your hands and knees. So lower down onto your forearms again. Starting on your knees, spread your fingers out nice and wide. Press the tops of the toes down, make sure you activate it into your core. And then bring the knees a bit further away. Or step the feet out into a full forearm plank. And either hold it there or lower the chin down, raise up, exhale to lower, inhale to raise up, exhale lower down, inhale raise up, exhale lower down, inhale raise up, one more, exhale lower down, inhale raise up. Then walk up onto your palms, leading with the left hand, come back down onto your forearms, lift up, and then lower down. Lift up, leading with the left hand, lower down, leading with the left hand again. Hold that there, then lower your chin back down towards the mat, exhale, lowering down, inhale to raise back up. One more exhale, lower down, inhale up. And then lower back down into a child's pose. Let your chest sink down into the knees. So come back onto your hands and knees, and from here we're going into a forearm side plank. So start with the right arm first of all, bring your fingertips pointing towards the edge of the mat, lowering down onto your forearm, and then extend out your top leg. Raise your top hand up towards the ceiling, and then you can also extend out your bottom leg. So this is your full side plank now. Keep lifting up from the hips and keep the thighs firm and active. Optional, raise up your top leg, hold it there, and then lower your leg back down. Place your hand back down again, and then come back to your hands and knees. Then we go to your left side. So bring the tips of the fingers pointing to the edge of the mat. Extend out your top leg and raise the top hand up towards the ceiling. Then you can extend out your bottom leg, the full side plank. Try not to let the hips sag down. Keep the thighs firm and active. Keep the neck in line with the spine. And then you can try raising up the top leg. And then lower the leg back down. Bring the hands back down to the floor. Come back down onto your hands and knees. And then lower back down into a child's pose. Bring your forehead down onto the mat. So from here, sit back up onto your heels. And then we'll go into a downward dog to close off the sequence. So if you just raise up your pelvis up nice and high, let your shoulders sink down, rotate the shoulders out. And then walk the hands towards the feet. Let your head hang heavy and slowly come back up. Bring the hands back up towards the ceiling. Shrug the shoulders up and down, find out a full range of movement in the shoulders. Pushing them as far up towards the ears as you can, let them sag down as far as you can. Find a midpoint between the two and then bring the palms together. Release the hands back down to the side. Take one elbow with the other hand and stretch the triceps. Then you can add in a side bend, leaning over to the side. Release your hands back down and do the other side. So grab the elbow with the opposite hand. And then you can lean over to the side for a side stretch. Come back to the centre, release your hands back down to the side. Bring the feet to the hip distance apart and then roll down to the floor. Walk your hands forward onto all fours. Reach your right hand up towards the ceiling, thread it through for thread the needle. Go into a spine twist. Reach your other hand up and bring it across. So open up the chest. And then place your top hand back down. Come back onto all fours again. And then raise up your left hand up towards the ceiling. Thread it through, bring your shoulder and your ear all the way down to the mats. Raise your right hand up and bring it back and over. So open up the chest. Then again, place the hand back down. Come back to all fours again. And again, lower back down into a child's pose. Let your forehead sink down into the mat, let your chest sink into your knees. Take a few deep breaths here. Then slowly come back up and bring your feet through. So we come to a cross-legged position. Just make yourself comfortable. You can either sit up on a block or a cushion. And then bring your palms together. Stay here for a few moments, just focusing on the breath. Being here, being present. And then finally lie down onto your back for Savasana and stay here for as long as you wish.